trying to clean his butt.
Okay.
All please rise, say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are we all right, Terry? Can you make sure that you've taken roll?
Patrick,
Here.
Bruner,
Here.
Lorenzen,
Here.
Zuber,
Yes.
Farnham, Heltzley, Boyd.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. Okay, public comment? Sure.
Morning, everybody. Wanted to rebut some comments that were made in the last county board meeting. This past Wednesday, May 11th, our former airport manager spoke in public session extolling his airport accomplishments. Concrete projects, hangar repairs, and the crossrun runway project were mentioned. He claimed that I, Robert Bogue, no longer support our airport, something absolutely false, and then contrasted my past support of the crossrun runway, or what he feels is no longer support today. Our past manager went on to say there was some sort of crisis. He then attempted to address questions raised in the previous board session regarding the benefits we, as taxpayers, receive from our airport. I'd like to begin my rebuttal to his comments with, it would have been nice if Mr. Wells had referred to the Edgar County Airport as such, rather than our airport. The words "our airport" were found immortalized in the remains of the firebombed aircraft N-106 Papa Tango. This firebombing occurred at our airport and during Mr. Wells' tenure. So for this and other reasons, I'd rather refer to the same as the Edgar County Airport. The facts are the Edgar County Airport has existed for about 40 years and is owned by all taxpayers in our county community. The Edgar County Airport, even given the latest controversy, continues to serve local aviators, crop dusters, and others. This is absolutely no concern or discussion of its closing basis for an economic downfall or of any other disaster that I'm aware of. There is no crisis. This past year, Edgar County budgeted about $85,000 for airport operation, which is an amount consistent with previous years, and there's no reason to believe it will not continue in the future. In addition, Edgar County enjoys rental incomes from the airport, its services, fuel sales, and taxes to the tune of more than $60,000, and even tons of FAA construction money for expansion, provided it qualifies. FAA expansion monies already received make it nearly impossible to sell or close the Edgar County Airport for the useful life of those projects, nearly always 20 years. The airport is not closing. There are, however, serious concerns regarding Illinois laws broken during our airport expansions and during other activities. By law, all Edgar County Airport expansions require some sort of county zoning, something Edgar County does not have. The law has been violated, zoning is required. Again, the facts are, land was wrongfully and illegally taken from our county residents for the cross runway and the main runway expansion, both east and west, and perhaps other. The need to follow the law and return the land taken by eminent domain, threat of same, or by any other means, even to include air rights during this illicit time of activity is the right thing to do. The land must go back. One must appreciate the land taken by our airport has produced a financial return from crops as well as other benefits. Benefits the legal landowners were entitled to. Edgar County's investment of 2.5% in these illegal expansions, or even 5%, which is now the current case, would seem to have been returned years ago from the aforementioned benefits. This argument does not factor in the secret bank account funds thought to be illegally acquired and used in the airport expansions, which were not government monies. In total, there's no net loss to the county airport in value or funds for what legally remains. Returning the airport to its original footprint will allow local aviators, crop dusters, and nearly all other users continued usage of the airport. It will not close the airport. More to the point, how could any FAA investment be possible without a resolution to the land ownership question? Zoning alone won't guarantee the immediate return of federal money. Other matters of serious concern involve a past project funding now withdrawn by the FAA and IDOT. This occurred because of inaccuracies introduced by Mr. Wells and others in completing grant applications which, when corrected, demonstrated a clear and indisputable failure of the county to justify and qualify for funds. Even the failure to know or to convey the law under which the airport was operating under falls upon the shoulders of our past manager. Closing, I will continue to support the airport as I always have, along with supporting fair, equal, and legal treatment of all concerned in both public and private meetings. I pushed for the installation of a long-needed credit card reading machines at the fuel pumps. I recently made recommendations on the more efficient use of existing fuel tanks. These improvements would logically contribute to increased patronage. With increased patronage comes a better justification of legal airport expansions. Am I close?
Yes.
Uh,
You got 30 seconds.
I can make it. I've also championed for telling the truth, good management practices, consistent policies, and basic honesty. I've even proposed a solution to the Division of Aeronautics, one that is now under consideration. At the end of the day, however, I do not and will not support violating Illinois law or any other form of lawlessness, as seems to have occurred routinely at our airport. Thank you for listening.
Anybody else? Insofar, as far as public comment, you've asked several questions, and we're gonna have your answer in fairly quickly, and I just wanna let you know, you won't have to wait much longer, okay? And I appreciate your patience, okay? We just had a lot of research to do and a lot of things that we had to check on with people. But I wanted you to know that, okay? Okay, I guess we'll start with you, Andy.
I guess I really don't have much on
Okay.
the table today, not much.
Mr. Bruner?
Not much either. Stopped at the health department, talked to Janet, the system's working fine, no problems. I guess you found out they did put the door in.
And it's working, yes.
Okay, and I think there's one other thing, I can't remember, remember the lawyer, the expense for the lawyer that she hired, that she
Yes.
passed the paperwork to you?
Yes.
She was kinda wondering about that, so.
We're, with everything else,
Yeah.
we're trying to get an answer, okay? And whether we can get her reimbursed, okay?
Yeah, the animal shelter's no problem.
I appreciate you bringing up the other,
Okay.
but we've had a few questions from Mark lately.
Yeah, I realize that. She just asked about it the other day.
No, I'll tell her that, well, I'll let her know, okay?
All right, thank you.
Mr. Zuber?
I really don't have anything, Jeff.
Yeah, the pressure's on you, buddy.
Well, I have stuff. Okay, so, we need to, we got word back from Mark, finally after our meeting in regards to setting up the Airport Zoning Commission, and what we need to do to get that, put in place. So, put that out to the group, to figure out, basically our timeline, who we want on the committee, or the commission rather. 2 or more is the stipulation there. We have to have a public hearing with 15 to 30 days notice prior to the hearing itself. I have a question about that as far as, do we have to have our plan or our proposal in place to post with that posting? If so, we gotta really get on the ball here.
My understanding is you can do it either way. You could ask for input while you're designing your plan, okay? Or you can design your plan and then ask for input.
There's not a lot of room for creativity as far as I'm concerned. It's strictly based on federal and state
Right.
statutes,
Right.
safety of the airport, so.
There's somebody you can get to help you with it?
I'll
Yeah,
take any help I can get, but yeah, so Barry's sending some stuff, I'm working with him, hopefully Mark can help us actually put the document together. But hopefully it'll be mostly a cut and paste if we can get the right documentation, put that together and have the hearing. So, I mean, I'd like to have.
Do you want us to appoint the commission at the regular board meeting, or do you have or does your committee have a recommendation on who should be on that?
I haven't talked to the other 2 guys about this piece.
Okay.
Trying to think timeline wise.
Well, we're
We've
talking
got a county board meeting in 2 weeks, is that right?
9th and 9th, I think.
8th.
8th. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the 8th.
Okay.
That would be, like 2.5 weeks. Right. Almost.
Did you have,
We can have a special board meeting if you want.
well, I'm just wondering about what our timeline is, if we can still get it in under the wire. I mean, if we can't, then there's no rush, and if we can, then we'll do everything in our power to
You
make that
just
happen.
let us know.
Did you have a was it the 17th? Was that you that told me that?
The 17th.
For letting and all that? That was our deadline, basically?
You know, that was not, well,
Somebody gave me that piece of information.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't think
I
that's
don't-
far outside the box, in which case, I mean,
The 17th is, you mean of June, that's a Friday.
mm,
I don't see that because the environmental issues haven't been resolved yet. I mean, that still hasn't been set to Washington, Washington, and that's gotta come back.
okay. So, because the plan was put on basically hold, there's no.
Nothing, everything's froze.
Nothing.
We tried to get them to.
So let's put it this
do-
way.
Yes.
Is there any way to, who we need to talk to find out what our deadline is? And if, once we have that, we can decide if it's even possible to get this done.
I would guess that Barry would be the source and maybe Malaknik,
Okay.
those two. And they talked about maybe having another letting this summer,
Mhm.
okay?
Is there a cost involved in doing all this? To the
Obviously,
county?
obviously there's some costs, we don't know what that is.
I don't know what that would, frankly, don't know, but I mean, what are you thinking as far as cost association?
Well, I didn't know whether, we'd have to see what the engineers, if
That's what
anything,
I
how
asked
much
you.
the engineers are involved. And this may be nothing, I mean, this may be included in what they're doing. I don't know. Nobody, I haven't asked them.
So maybe I'm off here. Cost associated engineers, talking about with the project itself?
No,
With
helping us, the zoning and getting the
That's what I'm
proposal.
asking.
I don't know whether there's any cost or not. I just didn't wanna say there wasn't gonna be one,
No.
having not
I'm with you.
not talked to them. I would assume that they would be on board if
Yeah,
they would be nominal.
I don't think
Okay.
he's putting in a lot of hours on that
No,
one from.
no, I think he
Hanson
just wants
side.
us to get it handled
Are you doing
and supplying
zoning?
us from with information.
Are you doing zoning for everything or just around the airport?
No.
Just the airport.
What I
Ted,
thought
you've got a
was.
copy of it. We
Yeah, I got a
sent it
copy
to you.
of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Mark's on board with that and
Okay.
how to proceed.
That's an interesting point that you bring up, though. So as far as our concerns with costs, as far as managing the zoning once in place, there's a stipulation in the contract, Mark pointed out, about the Department of Transportation acting as our proxy in any issues that come up there. And so that's good news. And
Right.
say, I knew that it would be a fairly thin layer of bureaucracy that we're inserting because we're basically following the statutes we've always followed.
Mhm.
So there's nothing that we need to hire someone to do any of that, so.
And there may be nominal. I just
Right.
think we just need to be cognizant of the
Yeah,
fact.
do you hire an engineering firm to do the zoning?
No,
Surveying
no,
and all
no,
that?
no,
Okay, that's
no,
what
no,
I'm asking,
no.
that's the reason why.
When you said
That's what
cut and
it
paste, you mean you just basically take the regulation that they like, height regulations at certain distances, and you paste that in, and that's our.
What
our
they've already
zoning?
used
Okay.
on as a
Okay.
Everything to this point.
Okay.
template already,
For
we
an
just,
airport.
yeah,
Okay.
okay?
It basically falls under the safe operation.
And that makes, the more I thought about that, it makes sense
Yes.
that you would need to do that. Because without that, you really don't have much of an ability to enforce anything
Right,
without
right.
that zoning.
And so there's other statutes that are strictly about the enforcement of, these, regulations, right?
Okay.
So, yeah, we're not gonna go out and create a new masterpiece, this is all just words on page, basically, to
Okay.
make sure that we're in compliance with,
The
safety aspects.
regulation.
I think you and your committee just need to find out what the best path forward and quickest path forward to get it done. I mean,
So that's what's hanging out there, right? So if we are up against something in mid to late June, as far as our last opportunity for this year, then expect that we will have a special board meeting in order to establish this, get everything in line, so we can knock that out.
but you're gonna have to have we're gonna have to have a hearing at some point in
Right,
that
it'll be
process.
15 days from that
Right.
special board meeting if we have to
Right.
have one.
Right, and that's,
And we're kind
Okay.
of up against the gun on that.
okay,
I mentioned bringing in somebody outside of county board, one or two. Again, we don't have to make this, it shouldn't be extra complicated, but, you know, from the advisory committee, possibly. I tried to talk to Joe Shiner this morning and he didn't answer his phone, so
Okay.
that was an option. But again, it's basically gonna be sitting down and putting words to the page, so that's all I got.
So whenever you're talking about these bids or these deadlines, is that because the feds are letting something or the state is letting?
Yes. There's
I mean,
bid
so
lettings.
there's
We've already passed
two,
one.
yeah.
Okay. And so now, what they would be looking to see if we have proper zoning in line before we'd be eligible for the second bid levy, or before the second one.
Right.
Am I understanding that right or not?
So turn the money back on, then, I mean, as long as everything else is in place, that's the question about the environmental study and all that.
And what they're looking at is probably in late June. Now, if they don't have anything in late June, if we're for some reason.
Well,
not
they have a
able to do-
letting, okay?
They're having their letting in late June.
Whether we're involved or
Okay.
not.
But what I'm saying is like if something happens, something doesn't happen or whatever, then the next letting would be like the next year type thing? Or do
Potentially,
we know?
there might be one more, but we don't know, so that's something we need to figure out.
And is that, once again, is that federal or state that's doing that? Do we
It's federal, the preponderance or the vast majority of the money is federal. The purse strings are held by the state. and they
know? Once
have a
again,
portion
the
of
state is the one,
They have
IDOT
to-
Aviation
we're looking for
is
the-
doing this under the auspices of FAA and their money.
That's how the state of Illinois runs. The other states,
Okay.
it's a direct shot, but in the great state of Illinois,
Everything, every agency
Everything
runs
goes
through
through
the state.
Okay. Thank you.
You might, on the proposals, we received one proposal in.
is that all? Yeah,
That's
That's
all
supposed
I-
to be this morning, so.
Yeah, and the due date for the proposals for the main hangar, or any use of the main hangar to be considered by this board through our committee was due in at 4 o'clock last Friday. And we did receive one proposal, and that proposal was from the company, and I can't, you might know the name. It's the folks that bought out Jim,
Okay.
Jim Mills, okay? We did not receive any other proposals from anybody else.
That's for use of the total hangar or just part
The
of it?
big hangar. Well, and I don't know, I mean, the board was, I mean, the committee was using that hangar like Jim was. In other words, they were using it, but they were amenable to other folks sharing it with them, I think, but I don't
Well, I
quote.
didn't see his proposal. I talked to him individually, and he didn't sound like he was as,
Flexible.
he wasn't as interested in putting out the amount of money that Jim was for that operation, you know, but sounds like a good proposal. I know we didn't put request for prices on there, but at least we got in there. It'd be interesting to see what the other organization that was ready to get litigious with us, if they just kinda lost interest or what, but, okay.
Okay, that's all I,
So with this proposal, then that was just, again, the ideas of what may be coming out of there. And then from those, if we'd had 3 of them, we'd have maybe picked those or none of them. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is where are we getting, right now, we don't have Jim Mills in there, right? Or
we do until the
Until-
6th of June.
Okay, I mean, technically, I meant by not having him in there, after his
Right,
time frame, he's done.
Right.
So we will not have anybody we're collecting rent then from in that big hangar then,
Until
technically?
technically until the committee
something comes up or
recommends
whatever.
something to the board.
And so the two individuals that we're talking about here, and I don't have their names in front of me, but they bought Jim's spraying business from him. So that's where they're coming from.
Okay.
The guy I talked to is from Arkansas, and he's got several different operations kind of all over the place, but he and this other individual purchased a spraying business, and so have an interest, but maybe not quite to the extent that Jim's was there at the end, which was a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Okay. For my part, the only thing I can tell you is the, Dina is coming up with a recommendation for the overflight of the county, and working that out with the state's attorney, making sure we make the right selection. And it should be at the board meeting this coming, the 8th. I know that the clerks are just about ready, once you get your letters, verification letters back, of turning loose, printing their report and turning it back over to Don for the,
Should be due tomorrow or Wednesday
okay,
at the
so
latest.
just wanna let you know about that. And I really don't have a whole lot more. We do need an executive session for the purposes of pending lawsuits only, okay? Unless somebody has something else.
I'd make that motion.
I second.
And that would be for pending litigation, okay? Could I have a roll call vote to go into exec session?
Patrick,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Worrell, you're in.
Okay, so we're gonna go, we'll take a brief recess to get coffee or hit John, and then we'll get back in. Did you have something?
No, I just wanna make sure that Terry didn't have anything, and we can bring her back
Oh,
the
did-
next time.
did-
around. Did you?
No, I didn't have anything
Okay,
else.
all right.
I'm sorry, thank you,
Nope.
Ellen. Okay.
Closed session and that,
Okay,
Yes.
but.
we're back
but
in.
You don't have to say what it is, but you have to
Okay,
approve.
we're on.
We're
Are we
on,
They don't get sick.
Okay.
we're on.
We're on.
Oh, okay.
Do we have any other business to come before the study session this morning?
Maybe you'd see that.
Oh, God, I can't.
I mean, I was down there, I didn't know.
Anybody out here? Nope. All those in favor, need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Every meeting, including the closed session, has to have written meeting, or minutes.
Okay.
That